All right, welcome everybody. This is Amber Taylor from Maximum One Realty Greater Atlanta, and Amber is going to present to us how to use ReMine docs. She is an expert and has just a way of presenting this in a much more simplified manner. So Amber, I am going to make you host, and so that you can share your screen. And do you know how to share your screen?
Yes,
at the bottom? Okay.
Yeah. Share.
At the bottom, it says share screen, and then you choose the screen you want to share. There we go. Yes. All right, we can see your screen.
All right. So, hey, everybody. I really love ReMine. I've used it. I started back in March of last year before it was mandated in the fall that we had to switch from our docs to ReMine docs. So I got in on a bunch of the initial phases, and at first it was really rough, but I just want you guys to know, I mean, I would put my skills to the test and test anybody with speed and ease of use between Transaction Desk and ReMine docs and tell you, like, they have came a long way. So if at first you were frustrated, it's okay. They have been working out the kinks, and I think it's really great. So I wanted to share some tips and pointers and just hopefully make it easier for you guys. And if you have any questions, always, you guys can feel free to reach out to me. I'm on the Rockstar page, or just look me up in the directory. I'll be glad to help any way I can. So the great things about ReMine, so you can access your ReMine docs directly from your FMLS. The other thing is if you have the ReMine app on your phone, you can also access your ReMine docs as well from the app on your phone as well. It works really great. When you click on the ReMine docs on your app, it actually opens up one of the web pages. So it does just take you to a web page, but it's very user friendly, unlike the old R docs that was not user friendly on your phone. So just to start here, when you go into FMLS, you go to the products, and then you have ReMine or you have ReMine docs. So I wanted to show you both of these options, because if you access ReMine, I'm just gonna try to click here. So if you go into ReMine, you can pull up any properties that are listed for sale in the, well, any property you can pull up. But this is one of my specific listings that's out here. And I wanted to share that you could also, right here, just create a transaction directly from that listing that's in the FMLS. So all you have to do here is just click on the create transaction, and it's going to go ahead and pull the information up into ReMine docs and start the transaction. So it automatically puts in your MLS number, the address. You say if you're on the buying side, the listing side, or both sides. Like this one, I'll just have to say both sides here. And you would put in, the buyer's name. So we'll just say Jane Doe is the buyer. It's going to pop up and add Jane Doe. And you just say, okay, we'll add Jane Doe to this transaction. And you say next. And once you say next, then automatically you can pick individual forms to put in here, or you can go to your packages where you already have some seller or buyer or VA, packages put together. But for this one, I'm just going to say we'll do F201 purchase sale agreement. I'm going to say we'll do a FHA loan contingency, and we're going to do the affiliated. Oh, if I could spell, hold on one second. Affiliated business arrangement, and we're going to go ahead and include a buyer. It's a buyer brokerage agreement. And then all we have to do is just say next. And in one quick swoop, your transaction's created. All of your contracts are right here ready for you to fill in the information. So that's just one easy step, going the route of using ReMine to set it up. The same kind of scenario, but if you go to, let me click back over here, go to your products and go to ReMine docs. You just go directly to ReMine docs. Wait just 1 second, it's coming up here. So if you go in ReMine Docs, then you open up automatically to your dashboard. And in your dashboard, you have create a transaction, upload a file. You've got my transactions. So all the transactions that you currently have in here, they're already created for you. This is the new one that I just set up. And you can click new transaction here. Here on the left also is your package library. So if you need to make any edits to the packages you have put together, or if you want to create a new package, you just click the plus sign here and create a new package. Then you have your form library, and that's just if you want to research any of the forms. And then this is a great tool too, because you have your clause library. So you have all the clauses that are created automatically from GAR. And then you also have an easy way to add your own clauses. So as Dana and them release different clauses that they've had, legal guidance on, they give us these clauses and stipulations to put out with our contracts. You can go ahead and create these and save them so that they're automatically there for you to add into any of your contracts, making it really easy for you. Another thing here is your settings. So I like to go over these settings with you guys. This is where you're going to enter your NRDS number here and your expiration on it. Then here, if you go down, you're going to have these different options. So you can set up to, I leave all of these, just everything checked on, but it gives you the summary emails every time somebody reviews, edits, sign. The one thing that I turn off, and it drives some people crazy that it happens, so I just want to tell you guys, it's going to automatically pop up whenever you're going to send a new transaction out, and it's going to tell you, oh, you're missing a date here, or you didn't fill out something on this form. If you don't like getting those smart alerts, then you can just easily turn it off or on with this little toggle switch here. I keep mine turned off, but if you like to just know and you want the system to double check all your boxes are filled in, then feel free to leave that on, and it just pops up as an alert, but you don't have to act on it. It's just going to pop up and let you know, hey, you didn't fill out anything in all these spaces. So I leave it turned off, but that's up to you guys. And then the client communication, you can have this turned on. So if you want your clients to join ReMine and set up a customer portal, it'll also email them when you put them in the system to set up their customer portal. So I just leave that turned off as well. The other nice things here is there is a guided tour, and then there's a support button. These are very great tools. So if you have a question about something or something's not working, their support emails are great. You can email them, and I mean, generally within just a few hours, but definitely within 24 hours, they're going to respond. So if you ran into an issue, email the support and they will get right back to you. Oh, and one more thing. In the regular ReMine here, if you set people up in your contacts, this little contact button here is going to make any of your clients, talking about the customer clients and portals, if you set up someone in your clients here, they're going to automatically appear as with their email addresses and their contact information automatically when you set up a transaction with their name. So when you have a new buyer and you have that buyer in there, you can set them up there, and then it's automatically instant that they're available for you to add on contracts. So I do like to point that out.
Amber, do the contacts, can they pull, if an agent has a Chime account, can the contacts pull from Chime?
Yeah, you can upload a CSV file. So if you download and you have a whole list of contacts, yes, you can upload. Let me get back over here. You can export, or you can add a group. So that's the same, you can download these as well, or you can add contacts by adding like a whole group contact.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so back over here to my transactions. And I need to figure out how to get this out of the way. Okay, all right. So on here, another fabulous tool that I really love with using ReMine is that if you have a buyer and you're working on a transaction, and you know how crazy everything is right now. So you have that buyer, and I know you guys are like me, and you probably have to write multiple offers for that buyer. I don't know many buyers that are getting their very first offer they put in accepted. So you've got everything set up. You've filled out all the forms. Let's just say, for instance, I'm going to bring up this 377 Oakman real quick. So here you see I have all of these documents already created, the VA information already filled out with their lender information. I have the purchase sell agreement set up, and the next transaction we're doing is pretty much identical to the last transaction, right? So when I click on my transactions, if you go over here to this right corner and click on the 3 little dots, you can copy this transaction exactly. It takes your purchase agreement, your VA. You will, of course, need to delete the seller property disclosures and community association disclosures, but your buyer's information on the purchase sell agreement, your buyer's information on their VA loan agreement, your proof of funds, your pre-approval letter, like everything copies over to a brand new transaction. So you just click on copy, and one item was copied successfully. And now see here, this one says the copy of Oakman Place. So now I have copied that exact transaction, and you will be able to edit the MLS number here. So just click on edit the MLS number. Bear me 1 second. Where is, let me get this ID number real quick. Copy. Let's get back over here. I'm going to paste this in here and just say done. All right, I just updated the MLS number for myself. It doesn't change your forms yet. I think that is something that they're working on. So when you automatically update the MLS on the main cover transaction, that also is going to edit all the forms in the future. It's not doing it yet. But this one here, I'm going to say 3021 Bedrock. I'm just going to say Bedrock 2. So now I can go back and change this, but now I'm going to rename it. And once you click on the forms here, you have your purchase sell agreement, and you'll notice that this purchase sell agreement, it still has all the Oakman Place details on it, right? So I have Oakman Place, but if I click on the address and then I paste in the new, I'm going to apply the MLS number, and it's going to go ahead and populate. It's going to get rid of Oakman Place, and it's going to change this to 3021 Bedrock and change all of my ID numbers, all of the MLS numbers. So everything is just a one-stop done for you on that form. It even updates the, let me go down to the bottom and show you here that it's now updated who sellers are. It's also updated the brokerage information. Actually, let me get rid of this one. Oh, okay, so it didn't. Hold on, this little bar is like in my way. Oh, I minimize this. Okay. All right, so here, so I'm going to select this as the agent. Okay, now back to my document. Okay, so now everything down at the bottom, sorry, don't let me make you dizzy. But here, now you have, my name is the buyers, my name is the seller, fill out all that brokerage detail again. Can you guys see me? Am I good?
Yes, we can see you.
It just popped up and said I had a slow
Unstable.
internet or something. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the same thing, you know, in here, this is going to pop up this next one, and you click on it and just change your apply the MLS number. Yes, populate this agreement. And then this should have, you can always, anytime you want to make sure that your people are correct too, when you go into a form that you've copied, again, here it's not showing a listing broker update. We're going to go in and pick myself. You want it, this people tab right here at the top is going to be the one that's going to allow you to make sure you have the proper people on your documents. So that's always the governing tool of who the people are on the contract. But here again, so I don't have to fill out the loan information. I don't have to fill out the lender information, the financing contingency, the VA funding fees, like everything's already filled out. And now I just have my buyers already in here, my sellers in here, and the brokers in here. So that form is completely filled out and done. So that is a simple way of copying information. And they do have this tool as well, the fields tool. So if you are doing a brand new one and you know all the locations and what you need to fill in, then all you have to do right here is just go to the forms fill. You don't even have to look at the whole document and just fill in all of the blanks that are going to be out there on your form, and it'll automatically fill out the entire form for you without you having to scroll through all the pages. You just fill out all the blanks. Any questions on that copy or any changes there?
You guys feel free to unmute yourself to ask Amber a question.
All right, so moving along here. So I will just, a couple of things, I know a couple of things that people didn't like, and I wanted to point this out. Let's go to, let's say this, seller's disclosure. Okay, so this seller disclosure, so the seller disclosure, as you see here on the left, see how this one says it's a PDF form? So it's not a smart form, so it's not going to automatically populate your signing locations, okay? So on this specific form, you've got your option of dropping in signatures, initials, drawing on it, adding in text box. A feature that people had asked about previously is, well, what if I need for my buyer to be able to go in here and fill out a location? They have now opened this up. So now I could choose this specific person, and let's say I wanted them to, you know, fill in, maybe I wanted to go back to the seller and ask them to fill in an explanation here. You can click this box and it's going to ask that person to fill out that box when it comes up on theirs. So that is, I'm going to remove that here.
Very
that's
cool.
That's a nice feature. But then for yourself, if you want to fill it out, then all you've got to do is just go on here and let's just say I need my letter here. I want this to be C, and then I say done, and it's done. So normally I wouldn't already have a box there, but you can add in any commentation that you want in a free form box before you send it to someone. So I'm going to say delete this one. Yep, delete that field. And if I go down to the bottom here, you know, you have to fill out your buyer's names and information. So this one here, I'd already put in the buyer's name and the dates and their signatures. They put that on here. The nice part about when you do drop in a signature, this one's not blank, but I'm going to show you if I drop in a signature here. See how this one automatically had a date box? You can just drag this like date anywhere you need to. So if the date was underneath, the date was to the right, it's automatically going to have that. Let's say that I don't want a date at all. I just want their signature on it. Then again, it's going to give me that option here on the right, just to say I don't need a date on it. I just need someone's signature or initial.
You guys, this is a great feature to use when, you know, I always encourage y'all, all of the consumer brochures and the disclosures that we have available for you in the reference section of Pipeline, and some of those things like that, that don't have a place for a signature or an initial box. This would be a great place to pull up those forms to send them to your clients and put in there an initial date and time or signature date and time, so that, as I always teach, nothing's an issue until it's an issue. But this way you can demonstrate that, yes, you absolutely did send them that consumer brochure, that disclosure, so forth and so on, and they in fact signed for it.
Yes. Yeah. And here, this is your history tab as well. So you can see the history. So great, you know, for legal side and for anyone who needs to know and people who have questions about digital signatures and they're like, oh, well, how is this really trackable? I mean, we literally have like a full history breakdown of everything that was done on this document. So these are here somewhere. Come on. Of course, it's just not wanting to. Yeah. No, 1 second. Let me go back. So this purchase sale agreement. Oh yeah, I forgot. This is in a new one. Sorry, guys. Let me go back to a transaction. So my transactions are here. Let's go here. So it shows me where the signatures are changed. If I click onto this one here, I'm going to go onto a purchase sale agreement. They've already signed this. So this is where you'll be able to go into this history field and give it just a minute. And now here it's showing where they were signed and opened. You have every bit of the details and who it went to, who signed it, what time they signed it. You can even go into the more details. It's going to tell you what IP address they signed it from. They did it from their mobile phone. So when it comes to knowing the details, this right here, and you can pull up an entire audit report and the brokerage can have this entire audit report if anything is ever questioned. One other thing that I did want to add is they did make it, and most of you guys know, but you can have one email address. So a lot of people like to use like one family email address for business transactions. So you can have that same person if it's buyer 1 and buyer 2 and they both use, you know, our legal agreements at gmail.com. You can use that same email address for both of them now. They did add that feature, so you can do that. Another note about sending people contracts to sign is that if you do have buyers or sellers that are overseas or they're in Aruba on vacation or they're in Cancun on vacation, ReMine is restricted that they have to be inside. This is just to prevent like hackers and stuff, but they have it so it's restricted that you've got to be within inside of the United States. But if you do have a buyer, you can email the ReMine support desk and let them know your name and that your buyer and this buyer is going to be signing in Mexico and they need to have access for like 2 weeks, and they will give them access to be able to sign in Mexico or Aruba or wherever they're at. You can get that restriction released if you email the support desk for ReMine. So I like to add that note. And one of the things about this as well, let's say you have all of this contract filled out. You cannot make any changes on these blocks. If you do, it's going to delete their signature. So you do want to download it if that's what you're, I mean, if you want to make any changes, let's say you've decided that everyone was giving an updated date, you know, expiration date. Okay, but they've already signed this. Everyone's already signed this. What you need to do here is just convert this to a PDF. And once you convert it to a PDF, it's going to save and lock in all the signatures that are currently on it. And you can mark up the date section here. So if I click convert this to a PDF, it's going to tell me, yes, you understand you're converting this to a PDF. Yes, I understand. So it'll no longer be a smart form. Now it's going to be just a PDF. And sorry, my internet is being a little bit slow, but now I can go into here and I can draw on it. So I can just take and I can draw a straight line. Let's cross this out. We don't want this date. I'm gonna add a text box here. Everyone's agreeing that we're giving them to the same time, but we're doing it through 9/8/2021. And then I can just say done. And now I've got the spot. Now I can just drop in initial. I need my buyers to initial this. Just drop in 2 initial blocks here. Of course, the seller's going to have to initial this as well. But you're completely done, and now I'm ready to send it to them and they can initial off on this. But if something was to, you're like, oh no, I need that back as a smart form, you can still go to the history here. And I can change this one back. Let's see. If I want to revert it back to a smart form, I'm like, no, it will delete anything I just drew on it or changed. I can click on revert and it's going to take me back to it being a smart form. And now any changes that I drew on it do go away. But I just want to tell you guys, you have the option. Anytime it says smart form here on the left, it's auto boxes and they're ready to fill out. But if you convert it to a PDF, then it will be a flat PDF form that you can draw on and make edits. So that's pretty much the gist. Creating like the whole new transaction. Again, in here, if you just click on my transactions and you just click the plus sign in here, you can create an entire transaction. Even if you just have the property address, let's just say, I'm going to utilize the same one that's already Bedrock. I'm going to just say I'm creating a whole new, well, this one's going to come up with already a listing number. But that's the transaction. You can input your sellers. Of course, there's no buyers for it yet. I'm on the listing side. And then you just say next, and you would put in your packages or your listing. This is going to be an exclusive seller broker engagement, the affiliated business, just a few letters and it'll bring this stuff up. Let's just see the ABC of agency. Protect yourself when selling a home. So we're going to put these in here. This is going to create this transaction. And then all my items are right here already filled in. The listing agreement already has the address, the tax information. It's a very smart wizard form, so everything fills in for you automatically. If I click on this deed book, should come up, yep. So it already has the deed book and page information. Do always verify that, but you just plug in your dates. And then you just send it to sign. So I think very, very simple. And then down at the bottom here, no designing the form, anything like that. This will automatically have my clients, let me get down at the bottom. So my seller's information is automatically in here. If this client was in my contacts, it would have automatically even put in his mailing address and phone number and email address. As it did for our brokerage, it automatically filled out everything here for you. And that's it. If you need to print these forms, let's say your client, you go meet them in person. So you do want to download the forms so that you can print them. You can't print them directly from the system. You can just click download on a specific form, or if you are on the transaction itself, 1 second. I can pick all of these forms right here. Let's say I've already filled out everything, and I'm going to take this to Mr. Seller and I'm going to let him sign it. So I'm going to click on download. You can download it in a zip file, so everything's individual, or you can download it as one PDF file. So click your one PDF file next, and we're going to name all right, we're just going to name this here. And then it exports it and it's automatically being downloaded, and it'll open up in an Adobe. I don't think you guys will see it, but it's going to open in an Adobe Reader screen on my computer. So you can save it to your computer anywhere that you would like to. Oh, there's down there.
So Amber, does it just by default download to your folder on your computer that's downloads?
Yeah, it goes to downloads, and then it also opens up in your Adobe PDF viewer. However you view PDFs, it'll automatically open in a PDF.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. And then the other thing, I get this all the time too. People are like, oh no, like I don't like the way that they're in. Like I need for my ABCs of agency and my protect yourself, because this is all part of the buyer brokerage. It is so easy to rearrange these. However you have them arranged in here is how they are going to send to whoever you are getting to sign to it. So if I needed to get these documents signed and they were in like some kind of a wonky order, that's how it's going to send to them. But as you guys seen, all you have to do is just, you know, let's say I want the affiliated business arrangement first, then the buyer broker or the seller broker. You can just grab them, just click them and move them all around. So any transaction you're in, it is that simple to move items around for them to sign. This clause library too, let me just go into here. Let's say, let's say that you have a clause. I'm going to scroll down real quick to the blank box here. But adding in stipulations and clauses, some, you know, on listing agreements, I know some of you guys have listing stipulations that you do. You can add a new clause from the GAR forms. If I click add a clause here, it's going to come up with anything in, you know, Georgia Association Real, you know, anything here. So let's say you do a retainer. I think there's a retainer out there. Or let's just say, I'll just choose this one. So if there's a COVID stipulation you wanted on there, you can just click preview on it and it's going to give you all the information, delay circumstances. This is, so I can add this clause. I've got it selected. I say done, and it's automatically going to fill this clause in for me. You of course want to change, you know, the blanks. So we'll say this is 10 days. That's automatically there. And then you can just save that clause. And it automatically puts it here. Or let's say you make changes to this and you want it to be your own. You can click on the save and you can put it in your clauses and add this one specifically to yours. So it's going to pop up and say that you move this to your closets and it's specifically saved in there. Or if you, let's say I charge a, you know, seller agrees to a, I'm just going to say a $500 retainer, yada, yada, however you want to say that. If I want to save this one here, you just type out whatever you want. And again, you can save it and put it in yours. So if it's something you specifically use every time, you can save this to your clauses. Put them in here. As you see, I have an appraisal gap that I already have in here. And say done. You can create different folders. If you have ones for buyers, if you have ones for sellers, you can create different folders for clauses that you have created. So that is there. I do love that feature. I think that's pretty much it. This system, I just wanted to come out here and just tell you guys again, it is so very simple to use. Again, you can use it on your phone. You can utilize it on your computer. And yeah, I would definitely raise somebody against something in transaction desk where you've got to go through the whole 4-step process and put all your people's names in there. So I really love it. I think it's great. And I'm always here to help you guys if you have questions about something. I think that's it, Dana.
Amber, if you're comfortable giving your email address, that would be great, or contact information. I am recording this though, so you it's up to you if you want to give out your cell phone or not.
Yeah, no, feel free. Give me a call. My email address is Amber, AMBER, .Taylor, TAYLOR, at maximum1, and that's spelled out ONE, .pro, PRO. And yeah, feel free to shoot me an email if you have a question about something. And like I said, you guys, I'm in the directory for and on Rockstars for Maximum One, so you guys can reach out to me anyway.
Awesome. All right. Does anybody have any questions for Amber? All right, I'm going to take the host back.
Okay, I'm gonna stop share.
Okay. Thank you so much. That is great. Yes, I see lots of thank yous. I know I see on the Rockstars page a lot of questions about ReMine docs and things like that. And you guys, it just takes a little bit of diving in and playing around with stuff. And, you know, one thing that I would suggest, I always suggest this with any software systems we have, Pipeline, ReMine docs, whatever, create a test transaction. Call it one. Well, don't call. Well, we've got 123 Lucky Street or 456 Fortune Lane, and create test buyers and test sellers, and just play around and even get with another agent and you know, so you can email them to them or to yourself if you've got more than one email address, like I think we all do. But just play around with it, and nothing is quite so scary once you're kind of in it. You're like, oh, that's how it works. When you first look at it, it's a little bit overwhelming. And like any software package, there's always more than one way to do something, which kind of gets confusing rather than simplifying things. So, but yeah, it looked great. It has a ton of great features. I know one of the biggest headaches at the beginning was, like you said, Amber, there's a lot of families that share one email address. So it was difficult to get a couple's signature on there when they shared one. So they have corrected that. And I know from a broker perspective, their support has been wonderful. And they're the ones that helped me get a lot of the Maximum One specific forms on there under the broker code that we have them for MXGA01 and MXGR01.
Oh yeah, that is a great tool too. Like DA request, affiliated business, they are so easy in ReMine. They are smart forms. You put them out there, it populates on your DA request, the closing dates, the contract, the names on the contract, like everything comes in for you automatically when you put those into ReMine. So thank you, Dana, for working so hard and getting those out there.
Yep, absolutely. And it's just like you said, the techie people at ReMine and ReMine docs have been very helpful with that.
Yes.
Awesome. All right. Any questions, anybody? I'm going to stop the recording.